Welcome to SethCraft. I'm building a 20 by 30 workshop back here. In the previous video, I set up the batter boards to get the corners of my foundation and also a level line. I'm going to be using 4x4 skids to put my joists on, and those 4x4 skids have a maximum span of about 7.5 feet. That means I'm going to have 5 rows of 7 footers in order to support my building. And so today I'm going to be doing the string lines to basically find the middle 3 lines or sections of my footers. So I'm going to be using a couple of stakes, some string, a line level, and a tape measure. If you're interested in finding out how I lay out my middle footers, then continue watching. This is the front of my building. I'm going to have a row of footers at the 5-foot mark, the 10-foot mark, and the 15-foot mark. And then basically on the 0 and the 20, I'll have a row on the outside as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put my stakes on the other side as well. And then I need to measure out from the corner to 5 foot, and then 10 foot, 15 foot, and then we'll have to set those stakes, go to the other end, set those stakes, and then, to be honest, I can use the top or bottom of the string right here to find my level, as long as it's just touching and not moving it up or down. I've placed a screw here on the diagonal of my front post. That lets me just pull my tape measure out here. Alright, and now I've got the 5-foot mark right here. Okay, I'm going to step back from my string about a foot or so, and that's going to allow me to basically have room to dig. I've got the 10-foot mark right here. Once again, I'm going to move back about a foot. And lastly, I'm here at the 15-foot mark. Move back about a foot. I now have all 3 of these stakes in place. I'm going to take 3 more and go to the back side of the building and do the same with the 5, 10, and 15 mark. I had a slight critical failure on one of my stakes here. Let's move that off to the side. Alright, I've got some more of this string, which I'm going to be using to go from this stake to the other one that's at the 5-foot mark. I'm just going to tie this around the first stake. And I'm going to run this to the other end real quick. And we will just let it rest on top and find the level for us. Alright, I want my string to be touching the first string down here, but not moving it. So I'm going to pull this pretty tight, make sure it's just barely touching, and then I can wrap this a couple of times. Alright, and now I can move on to the next stake. Of course, you can cut your string if you want and let it basically tie off to each one of these stakes, but I figured I'll use this string again at some point. So alright, I'll come back here in just a moment to get this moved down where it needs to be, but for now I can just take this back down to the other end. Okay, I put the other end where I want it. Now let's see, we've got about ½ inch or so that this needs to drop back down. It's touching but not moving it down. I finished getting the string on the last 2 stakes here. As you can see, it runs across over there. So now I have the location from front to back for all of the footers that need to go into this 20 by 30 building. Now you'll notice I don't have the stakes here on this side. So I'll have to have one at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So what I'm going to do is just use my tape measure once again on this screw, and I'm going to move down, mark the 5, mark the 10, etc. And then I will just do the same from each corner. So where this comes together, I'll mark. And the reason I'm not being quite as picky about this is because the capstones or concrete blocks that I'm using, the 4x4 will go here, meet in the middle, and there'll be a new one right here. So I have a lot more leeway or room to improve or mess up with. If I have, if my centerpiece is right here, it's going to be okay. If it's over here, it's all right. Right in the middle is ideal. So whenever I dig down my footers for this and pour the concrete, I can have a little extra room. But this right here will save a tremendous amount of time and headache, basically. So the main reason you want to put these in here is so that all of your footers can be in a straight line. If you have them wavering some, you'll have issues with those blocks perhaps not being able to fully support the 4x4 as you set that down. Now that I have the front to back guidelines set up for where my footers are going to go, it's time to start digging the footers. That's going to be in the next video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you can watch the entire series of me building this 20x30 shop. I'm Seth with the SethCraft Workshop, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.